What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Not Your Average Tuesday, the podcast. I am your host, Michaela, and we are back for episode 5, my favorite number, and I have a lot of things to talk about. So, the first thing that I want to get into is, again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who tunes into the podcast, whether it's visually or audio or both. I appreciate it. Now, a lot has happened in these past 2 weeks, and one of the main things that has happened to me is that I lost my job. They got rid of my position, so they told me about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, they told me that that was happening, and I just got a message today. This is literally the first day that I didn't go to work. I have been replaced already. And this episode will just really just be about a little bit of business, but a lot of it of personal, because I just need to get this off of my chest, because I just think that this is so funny. Okay, so let's backtrack. So about 2 weeks ago, I got a meeting. I got put into the office. I had a meeting with one of the managers, not even the store manager, but one of the managers, saying that, we are going through a restructure and your position is being eliminated effective the whole spiel. So I just said, okay. I'm just like, this is very random. I don't know where this came from, because I literally just had a conversation with the store manager, about my next steps, because I've been with them for almost 8 years. It'll be 8 years in July. So I was just a little confused. I'm just like, okay, that's very random. I'm like, but okay, it is what it is. And the manager, she's all like, are you okay? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, what, you want me to cry? I don't know. I'm not really a person who shows a lot of emotion, and if I do, it takes me a long time. Not necessarily a long time, but it will take me a day or two to really process what's happening before I have some kind of sad emotion. Let me say that. Now, irritation, that's gonna come quick. If I'm irritated, you're gonna know I'm irritated in 0.5 seconds. But anything that's on a softer or sadder side, it's just gonna take me a while to process. But honestly, I have not got there, and I haven't gotten there yet, so I'm more than likely not even going to get to that. So they offered me a visual manager position at another store that was an hour and some change away from where I live. Or instead of me being full-time in the role that I was in, the role is now part-time. So basically they got rid of the full-time position to make it a part-time position. And I was okay, let me take some time, let me think about it. And I just sat on it. I had some other good things happening to me at the time, so my main focus was that. And then the store manager came back last week, and I talked to the other manager at the other store. Me and her are really cool. I know I would have been supported fully with her as I guess she would have been my peer, honestly, because we both would have been management. But I said, you know what? Something about this is just not sitting right with me. And I don't feel that I need to be here any longer. I have been saying, I'm so tired of this job, and I just didn't feel appreciated. And I'm like, why have I been here for so long? And I haven't really, moved up in a sense. And I said, you know what, for this to happen, I think that this is just God telling me that it's your time to go. And if I don't move you now, you're never going to move. And once I came to that realization, I said, yeah, you know what, I think I'm going to just take my severance, and I'm just going to part ways with the company. And so many things have confirmed. Oh, hold on. I asked God for 2 signs to really make sure that I was kind of making the right decision. And the first sign, because I was like, I don't know if God gonna show me really, really quick. He might show me later on down the line. The first sign is, okay, so I had another interview for another store for a visual operations manager position. And I said, if I get this job, or like if something happens with this job, then um that's one sign. Like either it's gonna be a good fit for me and I'll know it right away, or it's not gonna be a good fit and I'm gonna know it right away. And the second sign was just like my great grandma. I was like, let me just see a lady that looks like my great grandma, and I need to do a double take. Like when I see this lady, I need to do a double take for me to be like, oh, she looks like my great grandma, right? Rest in peace to Mama Maggie. And I got this idea from my homegirl Janelle. She was telling me about this one brand who is closing down, and I think it's FBF Body. And she was saying that she had asked for specific signs to, confirm that she needed to close her business down, and she got those signs. And when she first seen it, she ignored it. But then I guess she seen it again, and then she was like, okay, this is confirmation. So I was like, all right, let me be very, very specific in what I asked for. And I just asked for the most outrageous thing. I felt like me asking for me to see somebody that looks like my great grandma, to where I had to do a double take and be like, oh my gosh, she looks like my great grandma. I'm like, that's gonna be so outrageous. Like, I just know I'm not gonna see this right. Y'all, tell me why the very last day at work I seen a lady that looked exactly like my great grandma. Like, and I literally did a double take. And I was just like, wow. The fact that this happened on my last day, that's enough confirmation for me. I don't even need the other confirmations to happen. I just know that this is it. Now, when I interviewed for the other position, talking to the lady, and we just going back and forth, and I'm just trying to fill it out. So I asked her, I said, can you just kind of walk me through a day in the life of somebody who is in this role? And everything she said to me was just an automatic no. She said, you don't really have a set schedule. You'll have an opening shift, a closing shift, a mid shift, whatever. You may need to stay later. You may need to come in earlier. Not only will you be in charge of a visual team and making sure everything is done in a timely manner and efficient, and you don't have a directive, you don't have any inspiration to pull from, you just gotta kind of know your customer and know what is trending right now for you to, dress the mannequins and do all of the visual merchandising things. So she kept asking me, like, did I have experience, like, with creative, like, freestyle and visual merchandising? And I'm just like, yeah. And when she said that, I'm like, okay, this is why she kept asking, because there's no direction. Then she was like, not only will you have to do all of those things, but you will also have to be on the selling side, like the operational side, hiring people, interviewing people, jumping on the register, literally filling in if somebody calls out, just all of the things. And I said, okay, like, I don't have a problem with that. Like, okay, I'm really confident on the visual merchandising side, and I'm really confident in, being in a management role, because in my last role, I kind of was that. So I was just like, okay. Then she was like, okay, I need you to come to another store so we could do like an on-the-floor interview and everything, and just see how my style is and see how I work in a team setting. And they just give me kind of like a, okay, go dress this mannequin. I know exactly what it's gonna be like. Come in the store, meet the people, blah 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 blah. Okay, let's go to the floor and let's see how you style this mannequin, or let's see how you help this customer. Or this scenario is, this customer wants to go to a party. She wants to wear something that's plaid, but she doesn't want it to be super grunge, but she doesn't want it to be. I already knew what it was gonna be like. Thought about it over the weekend, because I had that interview on a Friday. I thought about it over the weekend, and I said, yeah, no, I don't want to do it. Like, it don't feel right. It doesn't feel true to me as a visual merchandiser, and this is not, I don't want to take on all that responsibility. If I'm gonna be the visual manager, I want to be the visual manager and be strictly visual. I don't want to be on the operation side. Like I don't want to do that. And I know coming from one kind of stressful environment to the next, I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to do. So, had my homegirl, Janelle, shout out to Janelle. I'm like, can you just send a text message to this lady and tell her, like, basically, thanks but no thanks. So she sent her a nice professional text, you know, sent it, boom, okay. So, then, right, we're just getting to the nitty gritty. We're just getting into the things because, okay. So, I have been with my previous company for 7 years, almost 8 years in July, like I said. And I did so much in my role, like literally had 2 to 3 people working underneath of me, or not even underneath of me, they was working with me, but like I had to delegate the task and like tell everybody, you know, like the things to do for the day. I was doing a lot of labor, a lot of lifting, a lot of pulling, a lot of pushing. Can you give me this? Can you give me that? I need this. I need that. Da, 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 da. And if you know me, then you know I don't have a problem with doing things for people, but you need to treat me a certain way. And sometimes those older ladies would not treat me, or they would try not to treat me in a respectful way. And respectfully, I would have to get with them. So there were instances where, you know, I had to get smart or say, you know, watch how you're talking to me. There's a way that you ask me for something, or you know, you need to greet me before you ask. Y'all know black people don't play about being greedy before somebody asks you for something. I am one of those people. Okay, I don't like it because I don't do it to other people. We did not wake up together. We did not go to sleep together. This is my first time seeing you, and the first thing that I'm going to do is, good morning, how are you? Then we're going to get into the question. The first thing, you don't just come to me and say, I need a sign for this, da, 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 da. And then you're doing it with an attitude. So, you know, that's neither here nor there. I already had a TikTok video go a little bit viral about me explaining that situation, and child, the comments in there, someone that was eating me up telling me like, no, you need to fix your attitude. And I was like, damn, I didn't even know I had an attitude by just explaining how I feel. But the other people was like, no, you know, they always want black women to just be super chippy and, you know, and just tell all your business. It was just a lot. It was a lot. I'm getting off track. Okay. So, yes, I was doing all the things. And then, like, holiday time would just be super busy. And then on top of that, we don't even have, like, a beauty manager. We haven't had a beauty manager since like August or September. And this is the second year that we did not have a beauty manager. So, after doing all those things for the people, we have like vendors that come in and help sell the fragrance. I worked at Macy's. So they would have vendors come in to help with the fragrance. And the one vendor, she was like, I said something to one of the ladies that worked there, like me and her, like that's my girl, she's so cool. And she was like, I was like, yeah, I just feel like for my last day, like y'all should just give me some samples, you know, so I don't have to use my fragrance all the time or whatever. Just like jokingly. So she was like, I did not know today was your last day. She was like, da da da. So then the vendor overhears it and she's like, I didn't know today was your last day. She was like, nobody said anything. And I was like, yeah, you know, today's my last day, whatever. And she was like, well, they asked me to, you know, give some money for this other girl who's leaving. This other girl, they was eliminating her position too. She was like, they asked me for money for her. She was like, but I don't know her. She was like, you do so much for us. You do so much for this area. You do so much for beauty and fragrance and cosmetics. Like, why didn't they ask anything for you, or why didn't they put anything together for you? I said, I don't know, honestly, and I don't even care because I'm not even surprised. Like, yeah, like I deal with them on a daily basis, so I know how they are. Like, for example, it was probably about 2 years ago, I think, and we had some seasonal people that was working with us, working with me, and they gave those 2 seasonal people Christmas cards and Starbucks gift cards, and then they gave me one. And the only way that I know that they didn't give me one is because when they gave the one girl her card, I just so happened to be back there, but I don't think that they knew that I was in the stockroom when they gave it to her. So then like when they see me, they were just like, oh, and then just like gave it to her and then like ran off. And I was just like, you know, from there, I already knew how to carry it with them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't give them too much. And they don't get too much from me. It's okay. And before you ask, yes, they are. And yes, that other girl was, okay? So this vendor is like super upset. She was like, that's so messed up. She's more upset about it than me. And I said, you know what? This right here is just literally confirmation that I have made the right decision because I was not appreciated in this role. And then on top of that, when I was leaving, I was saying bye to that same lady that I'm cool with. And then the vendor was like, take my number, like I'm gonna get you like together a basket. She's like, that's so messed up. She's like, so I'm gonna get you something and like just meet me here and I'll give it to you, whatever. So the other lady that I'm cool with, she was like, if I were not like, she's like, I knew you were leaving, but I didn't know like this was your last day. So she was like, here, just take, she just gave me like all these samples. So the one lady was like, oh, here you go, Michaela. And she gave me like 2 or 3 samples. And then she was like, I wish you the best in your next endeavors. Da, 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 da. And I just looked at her and I said, thank you. The other 2 ladies that was there and say nothing to me and give me nothing. Like, I don't even care about them giving me something, but like they didn't even say anything to me. They didn't even say bye. They didn't say nothing. They just looked and just kept doing their thing. And I said, you know what? Yeah, this is definitely confirmation because on top of that, literally the day before, so my last day was Friday, Thursday, one of the ladies was asking me to do something and I said no. I said, I literally printed out a packet on how to do what you're asking me to do. Just go look at the packet. And she's just like, well, it's just too hard to figure out. Can you just do it for me? I said, no. I said, you got to start operating like I don't even work here anymore. And I think by me saying that, that was why she ain't saying nothing to me. She said, oh, you want me to operate like you don't work here? I'm not even going to acknowledge that this is your last day. And that's completely fine with me. And I said, you know what, this is such just like even more confirming that it was time for me to just go, and God was just giving me that push. And you know, and then come to find out, now mind you, I told y'all they offered me like to do the part-time position, right? But I turned that down because I already knew how that was going to go. I probably was going to have to take a pay cut, and what these companies like to do is have you as part-time but then work you full-time hours, so they don't have to pay you like all of the things like the benefits or the PTO, or you know what I'm saying, like they're just trying to save money, but they still want you to do the same amount of work. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that, so that's why I turned it down. Now today is, and they asked me, so March 2nd was basically when I had to be like, okay, I'm going to stay, or I'm going to take this, or I'm going to not take this, whatever, okay? The week, I want to say either that week that they told me I was going to be losing my position, or that week after, they had asked the guy that works with me if he wanted a part-time position. And he was just like, he didn't really give a yes or no answer. He was just like, you know, I'm in school. I don't know like how I'm going to do that. I get a text today. Baby, they already replaced me today. It's only Monday. My last day was Friday. They just asked the boy either earlier last week or the end of the week before if he wanted the position. They already replaced me. I said, you know, God, just thank you for all of these confirming things. Just thank you so much. I said, I don't even feel away. I'm just like, that's crazy. That is so crazy. It really just goes to show, like I said, I wasn't really appreciated there. And this whole situation is just so funny to me. And it may or may not expose itself and reveal itself of what was really going on behind the scenes, because anybody gets like, I know that they do like like layoffs and stuff in February, because it's happened before when I was there. But it just, y'all, it did not sit right in my spirit, and I'm just like, no, it don't work like that. It don't, I don't know. It's something just feels off. And even when I was telling like certain managers and stuff, they just like, that don't even sound right. You do everything for them. Like, you do everything over there. Like, who's going to do what you do? And how are they going to make that a part-time role? And it's so much to do. And I said, you know what? That's not for me to figure out, honestly. I don't even care. But, y'all, God just works in mysterious ways, and life happens in mysterious ways, and you don't know why life is happening for you, but you just have to be, receptive and open to change. And I am, like I said, I have been saying like I'm so tired of the job, and not even just like from the physical standpoint, but just like the drama and just all of the things. I'm like, yo, I don't want to be around here. And I'm like, I feel so stuck and so stagnant, and like everybody here is like older. They've been here for 20 and 30 years, and I'm just like, bro, I don't want to get trapped in this cycle. Now, granted, obviously I would have loved to leave on my own time, but I don't work on my own time. I work on God's time, and he said that it was my time to go, and I'm just going to embrace it. So, with that being said, even before like my last week, I was just kind of like, I need to do something else. Like, I do want to take some time off to figure out what it is that I want to do, because I'm not even sure that I want to go back into retail. And then I'm also not even sure if I want to get another job, because it just showed me how disposable I am. And I won't say replaceable, because nobody will do the job in the way that I did it, but replaceable in a sense. So I just said I need to think about some things. And when I was thinking about some things, I said, I want to use my expertise in retail merchandising, but I also want to be able to use my business knowledge. Like I said, I'm trying to write an ebook, so I want to be able to combine the two things. And I know my people that's listening that don't like ChatGPT, because I ain't a big ChatGPT girly, but together, me and Chat came up with Shelf Theory Studio, and this is my new business venture. So Shelf Theory Studio is a retail and digital merchandising strategy consulting business, where basically I help businesses and brands increase their revenue by strategic product placement, as well as e-commerce audits, updates, and things of that nature. So I'm really excited about that. I actually just got my first client and my first gig, and that one is already done. Like, literally got the ball rolling, got their flyers done for their event, boom, sent them their deliverables, got my money today. I am very, very happy. I'm very, very pleased, and I know that this is something that I can apply, not only my business acumen, but my retail knowledge too. So I will be helping, small businesses, especially with like pop-ups and different things, their merchandising, their tables or their setups. I will be reaching out to local businesses, and eventually, businesses in different states that have storefront, to help them with their merchandising and their product placement and different methods that they could use to increase their revenue. Because a lot of people have the business idea and have, the things that they want, but they don't understand how important merchandising is to a business, because it makes all the difference of if people are going to walk in and walk out, or walk in and stay. And then there's a whole store flow that people go through. And you want people to buy your stuff, especially if you have a store and you have to pay overhead, you want them to buy your stuff. So just applying different methods that I have learned in my 10 plus years of retail experience and my 7 plus years of business experience, on top of, even though I didn't graduate, my when did I start school? 2022 or 2023? 2023 to 2025, and then the Art Institute like 2013 to 2014 or 15. Anyway, it's in marketing and merchandising. So combining all of my experience and then my internships with magazine, I'm just gonna put it all into Shelf Theory Studio. And then on the e-commerce side, just basically doing website audits. If you're doing a website refresh, I can refresh your website, update it. Just making sure you have up-to-date products. You have everything that you have on your website is in stock. Kind of just re-merchandising your website to display the most popular items that people are interested in, and just kind of giving people a good, basically just a good website, to help people shop, updating your graphics. If you have outdated graphics or you're using stock images, I can audit your website and let you know, like, hey, you need to get live models in these pieces so people can see what it's going to look like on different types of bodies. I can help you with, finding photographers, finding studios to do your photo shoots at, and even come in and help, be a creative director for your brand as well. So I'm really excited about this. I'm not neglecting Tomboy Tuesday at all. So what I'm trying to do is make Shelf Theory Studio my main source of income, kind of replacing the job that I already had and making this my full-time job, and then still keep doing what I do for Tomboy Tuesday. So obviously I'm going to incorporate the two. So I have a pop-up March the 29th, Social at Maine, the Women's History Month pop-up, and it is March the 29th from 1 to 4, I believe. And obviously I'm going to go there. I'm going to do some content, showing how I set up my table, how I merchandise my table, how I decide what I put on my table, what doesn't make it on the table, and even down to how many pieces of the items, or if I have 5 different colors, what colors make it onto the table. I also will be, like I said, combining all that experience, making it into an ebook. So, even if you can't keep me on a retainer or you can't really afford my services at the moment, the ebook will be kind of like a beginner's guide on how to do these things. So I think that, with the time that I do have to myself, I'm going to take a couple of months off and really just go all in, at least 6 months, just to see where it takes me and where I can go with it. And I don't feel that God will put this on my heart without blessing me. I don't feel that God will put me in this position and not bless me. Obviously, I know it's not going to happen overnight. I have a business. I've been doing it for 7 years. That's not an overnight thing, but I feel really confident about this because this is something that I know, like I could speak on it with my eyes closed. And I want it to be something that's bigger than me. So, also kind of just like building a small team from it as well. And, just even learning different techniques to apply to Tomboy Tuesday. So, I have a photo shoot that I need to schedule as well for our repackaging, remerchandising, remarketing our spring stuff. So that is another way that I can incorporate, my 2 businesses together. But like I said, I'm not going to say it again, but I am really excited about this. So make sure you guys follow Shelf Theory Studio on Instagram, and I'm going to be working on the website all this week, updating my packages all this week, and definitely sharing, some knowledge, as much knowledge as I can, as much free knowledge as I can. I feel like the game should be told and not sold, but I do still have to make money. So even if the ebook is only $15, I think that is a good price. I ain't even really trying to make too much money from it, but whatever comes from the ebook, then it is what it is. I just want to be able to give my knowledge to people who don't really have the funds or have the access to all of the resources that I plan to offer. And then, you know, one day somebody will pay it forward and say, you know, Michaela, you gave me all of this game for $15. What Jay-Z say, I'm trying to give you $1 million worth of game for $9.99. And, you know, you told me so many things and now I want to hire you on for something. I see it, I feel it. And yeah, and then this will give me time to just get back into working out. I just have more time. I'll probably go for a walk when I get done this, but yeah, I'm just in a really good space. But I just want to, you know, let anybody know who's listening that when it comes to these jobs, you are replaceable. And you need to have more than one income coming in. And you need to save your money. And don't get too comfortable like, oh, don't worry about it. I got a check coming in 2 weeks, or I got a check coming every week. Don't get comfortable. You need to always stay on your toes. Okay? But you guys, just pray for me. If you know anybody that could use my services, please send them my way. I will be updating everything, like I said, all of this week. And please remember that it is not an average Tuesday. It's a Tomboy Tuesday. My outfit of the day, my product of the day is the Azina sweatsuit in black and white. And make sure you guys shop TomboyTuesday.com. I will be running a special on the sweatsuits pretty soon. I have to get that marketing stuff done as far as like email and text and social media. So once I get that done, I'm probably going to run it for a month because our anniversary is coming up April the 15th. So we are going to, I am going to be very busy, okay? And I love it because everybody's like, you're going to be so bored. How long do you think it's going to be before you get bored? I'm like, I ain't going to be bored, girl. A lot of things that I can do, a lot of things that I could catch up on that I wasn't able to do at this place for 9 hours a day. Like, literally. So, y'all, like I said, just pray for me. Keep me in your prayers. Send people my way. And I will see y'all next Tuesday. Thank you for listening.